Hello, thank you for joining the stream. We are happy to have you. We don't normally do them in the evening like this, at least the evening Redmond time. So a couple things. Number one, for those of you that are in chat, could you please tell us where in the world you are? Like, what country are you in? One of the things we did many years ago, right when we started doing these webcasts, was we tried it in the evening and we tried it in the morning in Redmond time to figure out where in the world would be the best time that we should broadcast and other folks could listen in. Amsterdam, Sweden. It's what time? It's like 2 o'clock in the morning over there. Oh my goodness. And one of the things that we found was we got great viewership when we did it at 10 a.m. Redmond time, right? We get folks in the US, a bunch of folks in Europe. The very passionate folks over in India and Asia, like broadly, would come and tune in. So all over the US, Canada, Peru, Finland, even though it's night. Yep. 4 in the morning. Oh my goodness. Catbert, what country are you in?
Brazil.
Yeah.
That's cool.
5 a.m. in Spain.
India. 8 a.m. in India. That's cool.
Oh.
Finland.
Andre, it's 4 o'clock in the morning and you are here hanging out with us. That is
awesome.
Is crazy.
Yes, thank you.
M
Thank you for
Syndicate.
tuning in.
Hey! Oh, what's up? In the UK and India. Oh my goodness. Serbia. Wow. People are from
Seattle.
all over the place. This is amazing. Well, I will say this. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. If you saw the note that we put in the newsletter at the end of April announcing these webcasts, as well as the post that we had on the answers forum, the premise of this particular webcast, as well as the one we'll be doing again tomorrow morning, which, now that I got this figured out, we won't have all the audio issues tomorrow, was to provide something of a virtual... Brandon, don't jinx it. Don't, just... was to provide a virtual booth experience, right? As part of the conference, Build, Ignite, Inspire, so on, we usually have a booth, wherein participants and attendees for the various conferences can come by to talk to us, ask us questions about the program, ask us how to get set up. We'll help people get registered. We've helped many of folks get builds installed on their devices. And really, it's just a chance to kind of put names to faces, meet those of us who, they happen to be there in person, and just, make connections and help grow the Insider community. So, thanks, Richard. So here, given that, in the new world that we're exploring broadly, we're doing all of these events virtually, we figured, hey, we would take the experience of a webcast where we get together and kind of hang out with all the insiders, and do that in connection with Build, so that as you've attended sessions virtually, and you would consider yourself kind of like walking around the exposition floor, hanging out, seeing the booths and whatnot, that it would give folks a chance to come by and say hi, come hang out, and, put names to faces. Now, I'm assuming many of you have seen us on webcasts before, come by and say hi in that nature. But given that you've had some of the build experience where you were able to attend, where you may not have been able to attend before, I will simply say thank you for attending. We're happy to have you here. And I will actually echo the question that Winobs, who is Richard, just asked in the chat, is who, even if it's virtual, obviously, who is attending Build for the first time this year? I would actually love to know that. That's actually super good information.
No, I'm not. I shouldn't wait to raise my hand.
I am.
Sorry.
This is my first build.
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, congratulations, Amanda. Welcome to your first Build experience.
Thank you.
It's Build.
I've had other people on my team attend. But we take turns. So I made Josh attended and Brad has attended. Mm-hmm. But this is my first time.
Awesome. So hey, while we're getting going here, and again, I apologize for the earlier audio issues. We were doing something special this year, right? Because normally when we're at the booth, we normally have some sort of like Ninja Cat stickers or something fun to hand out. because we don't get to actually provide those in person, we decided we would do something. And for those of you that are watching this stream, pay attention to the image I'm about to show on the screen and go visit this web address. Here it comes. Now, what you are looking at is we are going to provide those of you who visit this link, you are going to get a special badge in the Feedback Hub for Build 2020. Like, this is something that we kind of decided to pull together. We did one for Ignite in the past, but again, it was kind of an in-person type thing. So for those of you who like to collect all the badges and get everything that you can in the Feedback Hub, and there's a bunch of them, obviously, as you can see on the screen, this will be a special badge that you will get for having attended one of 3 sessions. There is the current webcast that we are broadcasting on right now. We have the second webcast that will happen, if you are in GMT, will happen later today. If you are, in Redmond time, in the US, it'll happen tomorrow. And then tomorrow afternoon, we actually have an expert session that we'll be hosting that will talk about an intro to the Insider program, if you're a developer, how to connect in, how to connect Feedback Hub into your application so you can run your own Insider program and get feedback, things of that nature, right? So, make sure you take a moment to go and visit this link, aka.ms/withbuild. This is super special for you, right? I know somebody's going to end up posting it on social media somewhere, but we really wanted this badge to be special for those of you who came and hung out with us and attended, so I'll ask you not to go share it. I can't stop you, but, it's really as special, and we want you to have this because you came to come and hang out with us. So take a moment, fill that in, and when you do drop your email in there, please use your Windows Insider registered email address. We don't want to give you anything crazy or whatnot, and we need to make sure we have that one so that it connects to your actual Insider account. So again, use your registered Insider Microsoft account so it'll actually show up in Feedback Hub for you. If you use a different one, you're going to get a badge on an account that, you might not use frequently. So there you go. I'm going to bring everybody back up, and, now you get to see our smiling faces again. So I will share that again later in the stream. I'm sure some people will come, some people will go. And I want anybody else who shows up later to be able to, take advantage of that badge as well. So I'll probably show that a few times during our broadcast here. Oh, goodness. So, and one more has put it in the chat stream. Yeah, that's actually a good thing. We can paste the link a few times. It's no big deal, because if you're in the live stream to see the link, then, hey, you're here attending with us anyway. So, I gotta ask, for those of you in chat, Build, the first day of Build, right? There's still content going even right now. What do you think so far? What has been the best announcement of something that you've seen shared at Build? What are you most excited about? I'm going to give it a minute for this to actually connect over, because I know there's a little lag between when we're talking and when you're going to hear it. So I'm excited to hear everything that's coming up for folks. Brandon, Amanda, Jen, if you have something you're super excited about, please do chime in as well.
Project Reunion! Project Reunion is amazing! I love Project Reunion!
I swear, Brandon, awesome. you are channeling Rich Woods right now. He and I had this exact conversation already.
We may have, exchanged some notes. Actually, no, he doesn't talk to me.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to run through some of these real quick. WinGet, Linux GUI apps, Project Reunion, of course. WSL2 and DirectX, another vote for Reunion. WinUI, Maui,
not just
WinGet.
W's, but Edge. The Linux UI apps.
Yeah, and then Todd Spaticoli in here dropped in Edge on Linux. Yeah. Yep. Fluid Framework, Project Reunion, watching all the amazing people. So that comment, that watching all the amazing people, that comment was left by Jacob Anderson here in chat. It is actually super important to call out, right? Some of the folks, like Scott Hanselman, very, very, very well-known persona from Microsoft. He does his own podcast. He does, webcasts and stuff himself. There are some folks who have spent a lot of time in the public eye, right? Doing these type of presentations, chatting with end users, they're good at it. They're very well rehearsed. I've done a lot of these webcasts. Jen and Brandon have been on a bunch of these webcasts, but I'm still not very good at them, right? I do them because they're fun and I love connecting with insiders. But for a lot of the folks that are doing this virtually, right, this is a new experience for them, right? They've done it in person, they've been up on stage, but all of a sudden you kind of change the environment and they're having to do this like from their kitchen, right? I was watching a stream just before this, and you know, Scott had been talking to Nat Friedman and got up and walked outside and was sitting out by his hammock, which was hilarious. And then later on, I don't know the name of the lady that he was chatting with. It was in tiny text and I couldn't see it. But she was sitting in her kitchen, you know, sink behind her, a couple of hand towels and stuff, right? Folks are doing this from their home, and it's a completely new experience. And it's super fun, right? And so there's an entire world of things that we are learning along the way.
I just love that scene where, like, I don't know, I thought it was one of those perfect Teams backgrounds. And she reaches out and touches it. Like, who are you that has this fantasy, beautiful kitchen?
Oh my goodness. Oh, hey, it's Kilo. Welcome to the stream, Kilo. By the way, for everybody who's out there watching, Kilo is Brandon's pup. He is super cool. Brandon's playing Kilo like a guitar.
What he really wants is he wants snacks, and I'm like, nope, not right now.
Oh my goodness!
But I mean, I promised some insiders that Kilo would make it an appearance, so there it is. No more snacks. No.
Yeah, theoretically, my cats are around here somewhere, but I was like, we started the actual stream, and they like noped.
Somebody said their favorite thing was glimpses of the Surface Duo. Oh my goodness, that's funny.
You know, I got really into that too, so I can relate.
Oh my goodness, this is super fun. So, if you were attending Build, right, and out of the sessions that you have seen so far, whether you've been watching them directly or if you're trying to catch some of the videos after the fact, if you could go and visit one booth, right, go talk to either the people who presented or their specific material that you were interested to learn more about, which booth would you go visit?
Windows Insider booth is the greatest booth ever.
We haven't presented.
Yeah, we haven't presented
have we?
anything, Brandon.
I'm still going to the Windows Insider booth.
Windows Terminal. For me, I would go to the Windows Terminal.
Okay.
Because I really want to learn more about command line stuff. I'm really excited. I get nerded out by like using command line to do certain things in the OS. Like I'm so used to doing things through like the graphical user interface. So when I learn that there are like command line stuff that does things that can be sophisticated, I get really excited about that. I think part of it is like in Jurassic Park where they're doing the command line like white rabbit object and it shuts down the entire park. Like I've always been like interested in like how these commands can do certain things because again, like I'm so used to doing it visually, not by text. And so one of the things that I'm wanting to do over the next couple months is learn more on the command line side. So I would personally go to the Windows Terminal booth.
Okay.
Kilo, stop it.
There's a few people that agree with you and say they would visit Terminal. Several folks in chat said they would come say hi to us. So hi, you were actually at our booth. Fluid Framework, Terminal and WSL. Somebody wants to go visit the Project Reunion folks, of course. Edge, got a call out. Let's see here. A lot of people have said .NET. So I will say, I haven't gotten the chance to view a lot of the build content as it's been presented. Even during build, usually we would be at the booth, right? So I don't get to see a lot of the presentations firsthand. And actually earlier in the day today, I won't spoil the topics, but we were actually recording the podcast that's going to launch on the first Wednesday of June, and I think it's June 3rd. So we actually did the podcast recording today. So, quick pitch for that. That's coming up next month. The booth with the most cats. Oh my goodness, that is fantastic.
I feel I have no cats. Is that a problem? Do I have to get cats?
No,
I
you have a
don't
dog
understand.
though. You have a dog. I'm gonna have to like step out and go grab my dog. She
I'm not
hates,
getting
she
my
hates
dog.
being held though, right? So like I'm sitting in my chair at my desk here, and I'm gonna have to go get her, and she's gonna be like trying to get away the entire time. It's gonna be fantastic. Excited to be able to talk to each other in Windows Terminal. I know, right? Richard B53. There are so many things that have changed in the past 5 years with Windows. I can't even just the number of things that have been open sourced. The fact that we actually built a web browser that's based on the Chromium engine, and now that's available on Linux, like it's almost done. It's not available for download yet. It's forthcoming, right? I'm not trying to set false expectations there. And then just the amount of effort that has been poured into the open source community altogether. The fact that Microsoft bought GitHub, right? Like I'm sitting here reflecting on some of these like what I would just call like milestone type moments, and I think Amanda froze. There's a lot that has changed in the past 3, 4, 5 years. Many things that I would never have expected to see along the way.
Not? Sorry.
Uh-oh, and Jen has a cat on the stream. Welcome, cat. Which cat is this, Jen?
This one's Allie.
Welcome to the stream, Allie. We're glad to have
Can
you.
You have a cat named Allie?
Yeah, Alley Cat. But yeah, we also have.
A pause. You may need to dial Amanda back in because Baby Yoda decided to dial her out.
Oh.
So yeah, you need to dial her back in. That baby Yoda is really kind of mischievous.
Okay, so I'm going to pause Amanda on the external stream, and then I'll reconnect her in. Oh my goodness, this is funny. All right, so let's add her back in. See, this is how everybody knows that this is live and this is legit, right? This is one of the things that cracks me up about this. So Amanda, I'm re-pulling her into our session. She just needs to answer. Oh my goodness. Is this proof that Baby Yoda is dark? You know, I will say
never
this.
trusted Baby Yoda.
Yeah,
never trusted Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I will. Yes, Uncle Mark E. Yes, live, spontaneous, and unrehearsed. All three of those things are absolutely true. Well, I'm trying to call Amanda, but she doesn't seem to be answering.
She's done with us already. Wow.
Apparently.
How do I fix you answer the call?
Brandon looks focused.
I just told her in the stream chat that she needs to answer. Oh my goodness. Baby Yoda doing a Chucky. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So while we're trying to reconnect Amanda, right? I will say this. Let me actually ask you a question that's actually related to the Insider program. Are there any questions that you have about the program that are outstanding? Right? This is just kind of broad, wide open question. I'm not going to promise you we're going to answer every single question you have. I know it's always kind of scary trying to do something like this. But if you have any questions about the program that you want to ask, please do. And if we can answer them, we will. But I will say there's a ton of familiar... I would call them faces, right? But they're names here in chat. So, yeah. Let's see here. So Winob's asked about 10x Insider. So there's... Richard, I love you to death. I will simply say this. There were...
Amanda's back.
Oh, Amanda's back. Hey, welcome back, Amanda. Let me re-add your video to the stream. Hey, a couple of clicks. Is it going to work? Let's see here. Oh, it worked! It worked! I didn't break it. I didn't crash my device this time. Welcome back, Amanda.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you.
I will simply say this. So Wenob/Richard, I don't know what to call you. Do I call you by your screen name or your real name? Because I've actually met you in person a million times. I'll call you by your screen name because that's what people see in chat. So Wenobs, obviously with some of the other changes that were made with products and timelines, there were things that shifted around. There were other things that didn't necessarily get completely covered in detail. I will simply leave it at that. Lots of things have changed, and when we have more to share, we absolutely will. I know that there's excitement. I know folks are super interested in it. There's more to come in the future. Nothing specific to share at this time.
We could post the link into the chat, but I highly recommend reading Panos' blog post from May 4th. That gives some context around what's going on with our 10X devices. So I highly recommend reading that blog post. No, Jen, I'm not going to play Animal Crossing. I hate that game.
But it's so cute. And I made so many t-shirts.
Okay, maybe if you make me a t-shirt, I might play it.
What t-shirt do you want?
Here comes Brandon. I found the link to the May 4th blog post, and I am posting it in chat right now. So there you
okay, perfect. Because for some reason, I don't know why I can't find it.
That's okay. I had to do a weird search, but I got it, and there it is. So I will share that. So let me scroll back up. 65% of the people in chat, this is their first build. Wow. All right, that is
a lot.
A lot.
That I want to say that's amazing. That is amazing compared to what being a physical invite, like a physical event only, like being from that to this, like that's amazing. Like yeah. I'm sorry.
No,
that's pretty cool.
You're right on track, Brandon. Because normally I will say this, like a lot of people that go to build, their company sponsors them. My hand's really big on the camera. Usually it's the camera right in front of me, right?
Focus.
But I have the webcam over here. Sorry. Right. So usually a lot of folks, either their company sponsors them because it's a company related thing, or they're folks working for specific apps and things like that. So there is a cost to attend build under normal circumstances. But fortunately, with the online digital version of the event, registration was free, unless I missed something along the way. It was free, and so that opened the door for lots of folks, either who normally couldn't, or for whatever reasons just wouldn't have been able to travel to come attend the event, or if they didn't have somebody who was kind of in essence sponsoring them on their behalf of covering the costs of the airfare, the actual the ticket to attend build, things like that. Like, it provides an opportunity for many more people to participate and see the content. The build content would get posted after the fact, right? But there is something special about being part of the event as it happens live, and especially like for the insider population, right? Insiders love to be in the know. They love to get builds first. They love to find out what's just coming out, and there's something to be said for attending the conference firsthand like that, where you actually get to be part of the material as it gets spoken about, as it gets released, before it comes out 2, 3, 4 days later in digital format after the fact, after all the tech blogs have been written and it's been blasted all over Twitter, so on and so forth. So rather than almost feeling like you were separate and had to wait for the information, with this digital format, you get to pick what you want to see. All the barriers to attending the conference have been kind of removed, right? At this point, since, obviously you're here in chat with us, so you have an internet connection and a web browser and a computer, which that's what you need to attend build this year. So that's kind of awesome.
I think it's fantastic. So
let me go through and see here. Will we get a new build tomorrow? Crazy Cats?
I'm not surprised that she asked that question.
Of course she asked that question. That's like I've got to say, hold on. Igor D, IGORDESL. Igor DESL. I'm trying to parse out his username. DE is the
it might be Day.
Igor.
My dad's in the
Igor
chat.
from SL
Guys,
or
My dad's in the chat, so everyone say hi to Vern LeBlanc, who's in the chat. That's my dad. He's asking for swag.
Okay.
So I will give him some swag, but yeah, say hi to my dad.
Hi, Brandon.
Do I get swag?
So, okay, you ready for this? And I hate the fact that I have to admit this. So Ripley just all these little things that are showing up in the top of the chat window. I hope y'all are seeing this right, because right now it's Bill Gates dancing on stage, and somebody just had one of the red button getting smashed. Like this, I love this. This is one of the things I love about the Mixer platform. Somebody says, I want swag too. Uncle Mark E. Okay. Well, here, I'll just show this again. Uncle Mark E.
I want swag.
Make sure and visit this if you want the build badge to show up for you in Feedback Hub. Visit this link. It's not even, this survey doesn't even take 2 minutes. We overestimated how long it takes. You can fill out this survey in about 20 seconds if you hustle through it. aka.ms/whipbuild. All right, so I'm going to bring everybody back now. There we go. Everybody saying hi, Brandon's
red
dad.
button.
What's that?
I said it's funny about the red button.
Yeah,
like Dawn and I talked when I was first announced to the role. She and I were going back and forth about how we can get the button. With the whole social distancing thing, we just couldn't work it out. But as soon as it's humanly possible to do the handoff of the button, I hope we can make that happen.
Yeah.
Or we could make you a better one that like when you press it, it screams at you. It's like, "Ah, your builder's coming!"
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
I thought, didn't one of the insiders make some sort of IoT thing that like flashed whenever a new build got released?
So that was
yeah.
I think that was Barb, and she made an IoT thing that was, I believe, I'm trying to remember if I got this right. It was on her fridge, and when we tweeted from the Windows Insider handle with a hashtag flight put into it, it would flash on her fridge and get her attention, and she would know that a new build had been released. Yeah. I'm reading back through some of the comments, because when we were talking about build, I apologize. I realize I'm a little bit all over the place here, but there's so much going on. I'm trying to cover all of it. Concise Cupid.
Yeah.
We can do this
Jason,
virtually. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, my dad's offended because you kind of jumped over him.
Oh,
I'm just saying.
What did I jump over? I said everybody say hi to Brandon's dad.
Okay. Oh.
I want to know what swag you're getting him. And if I can have swag.
I don't have the swag. I'm just glad we're giving out the build badge.
Jen, he gets the hand-me-downs from years before. He's probably going to get me, I'm going to get him a t-shirt from PDC 2008. That's
a 12-year-old
vintage.
t-shirt. That's vintage. Yeah, if it's older than like 5 years in the tech world, it's practically vintage. But hold on, I do want to read this comment from Concise Cupid, because it actually, it kind of highlights what I was mentioning a minute ago. We can do this virtually when normally we can't be away from work or work won't pay for it. And this makes Build a global event, which, yes, it really and truly does. So Geek Within, in response to some other folks, yes, me too. I have attended Ignite for many, many years, as I had to pick just one conference, and it, referring to Ignite, has a bit of everything. And then someone else says, the insider's emphasis on meetups for a while was just as isolating as the prohibitive cost of Build for me. This is so huge. And it's true. And that's been one of the things, and I think we talked about this a little bit on the last webcast, where we tried to experiment and see how insiders want to engage as part of the community, right? And doing local meetups is a good way for those folks that are, close enough to you to actually get together, but not everybody lives in a space where there's enough insiders to do a meetup, or that you actually know any of the other insiders in the area to actually compile and have a meetup. So doing something like this, and this is one of the things that drives us doing the webcast, it gives us the opportunity to take some of this information and things that we're working on within Microsoft and actually broadcast it externally. And so now doing this with Build, right? We get to take all of that content in real time, share it with anybody across the world who wants to consume it. And it is really, it is taken something that was, it was smaller in scale and very kind of scoped, and made it highly accessible to everybody, which I love it. Are any parts of the Insider program changing? Subsequent question regarding Feedback Hub. So I'm reluctant to let the cat out of the bag, but I'll do it anyway. I'm probably gonna regret this, but I'm not getting myself in trouble here. But if you tune in, I will say this. Who asked that question? Let me scroll right back up. Give me 1 second.
Did you make this up, Brandon?
The chat's going so fast, I'm having trouble finding it. Oh, it aged out. I don't know who asked the question. I'm sorry. So whoever asked the question about the Feedback Hub, if you want to type your thing back in here so I can actually give you credit for asking the question. I will simply say this. Each time we do a webcast, we ask people, hey, tell us what you want to hear on the next podcast. Tell us what you want to hear on the next webcast. And we take in that feedback. Well, over the past months, we've got a lot of questions about Feedback Hub. And there is an entire series of projects happening internally relating to Feedback Hub. And next month's podcast, the one that launches at the beginning of June, let's just say it's very much focused on Feedback Hub. So I will say that. So yes, there are changes coming. You should tune into that podcast, and you will find out more. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Shout out to the podcast. The podcast is awesome. Jason, you do a really, really, really awesome job with the podcast. I've listened to it. I'm not a podcast listener myself, but really, thank you. You do a good job with that. So
thanks. Hey, Jen. I'm actually super curious now. Jen, can you post another poll and ask people if they have ever tuned into an episode of the podcast? I would appreciate that.
Good idea.
I'm just curious. Like, this is one of the things, and this is one of the problems that we have, right? Is we try to figure out when we do this type of stuff, how do we get the word out about the webcast? How do we get the word out about the podcast? If you took part in the annual survey, which I hope everybody who's tuned in now took part and actually filled out the annual survey, one of the questions in there is, are you aware that we do a webcast? Are you aware that we do a podcast? So obviously, if you're attending here, hopefully you knew that we do a webcast. But we also do a podcast too.
Jason, I think the important question is, like, what are the other venues that people want to see us at? Like, do they want a Windows Insider TikTok?
Oh my God!
No, that's
my daughter
all
is
you.
100% willing to set that up for us.
No.
Wow.
No.
I am. I'm sorry. I am eating popcorn. I'm sorry.
I have limits.
It's distracting. I'll stop.
I have limits here.
Are you sure? I mean, if the people want it, we should do it.
So, okay, I'm sorry. I have to call this out real quick. If you look in the chat, somebody has registered with the username Tim Cook and actually has a profile photo of the Apple CEO.
I know!
It's totally distracting. It's hilarious.
Look, I've been engaging with Tim Cook, and he is such a sweetheart. I am so surprised that Tim Cook is so nice. And it sounds like he's a Windows Insider, too. That is just amazing.
While I have no way to prove whether or not this is actually Tim Cook, I want to be an optimist, so I'm just going to assume it's not actually Tim Cook. Tim Cook's asking about IoT. Ask what's your favorite Windows feature, probably because he wants to steal it and put it on his Mac OS. Yeah, we need WSL on Mac. Can you do that? Ooh. Oh my goodness.
And just to respond to the chat, I promise I promise I won't do a TikTok. I promise. I've already had people on the team text me on the side saying, I promise I will quit. So we won't do a TikTok. I'm not on TikTok.
Okay.
I'm going to be on TikTok. I'm going to be on TikTok.
I think I love podcasts, Jason. I actually listen to a lot of podcasts on my own. The only problem is that working from home, I'm home, and so I'm not commuting anywhere anymore.
Yeah.
But I gotta that's a good thing to do. Like when I'm walking the dog, I gotta make sure I'm doing that a little bit more.
TikTok?
Who let the dogs out?
No, not TikTok.
When I let the dog out because the dog is not in my office currently.
I need to listen to more. Podcasts other than Jason. I hear podcasts are a thing, but man, like you were mentioning, like being at home, it's, I don't know. I find it difficult to tune in to podcasts here at home while working at home. I don't know why.
Rich asked if I have pets. I do have pets. I have a dog I got when we started working from home. I've got 5 kids and my husband who's working at home at the same time as me, so it's definitely a full house. He's a golden doodle.
Oh, it was Starzuft had asked. Okay, yeah, there you go. Yes, everybody in chat voted no.
I mean, I like watching TikTok videos that get posted to Twitter. Is that weird? Some of them are really creative.
There are, and I'm going to try to endeavor to be creative on TikTok, but likely no, I won't. But there's some creative stuff on TikTok. But also, the other thing that I was watching some videos on Instagram stories. I've seen some interesting stuff there as well. So.
Oh my goodness. Somebody has specifically asked for my dog by name, which means I know this person, and I actually know who this person is. Oh my goodness.
Is it your mom? Your mom's on our stream again?
No,
like my dad?
I did not tell my mom about this evening's stream.
What?
Look, hold on.
Okay.
I promised everybody on the stream I'm not going for sympathy points here or whatever. My grandmother passed away last week. And so my mom has been otherwise occupied, right, taking care of arrangements and, dealing with family matters and things of that nature. So I did not, tell her about the stream and have her come on. I didn't want her to have to be trying to juggle different events and things. So I figured it was best to let her tend to family matters. And yeah, to those of you in the chat offering your condolences, thank you very much. I appreciate it. She was up there in age. She lived a long, good life. I miss her a whole bunch. She was awesome. Yeah, I'm probably gonna cry again. So you get to see me cry on stream, but whatever.
He cried in front of me during a podcast, and it was so awkward. I was like, "Oh, should I cry too?" And I did.
Aww. Yeah, no. It's the reality of life right now.
Yeah. So no, she was not sick with the virus that's going around. She had nothing to do with that. She had just, she was old and long hard life caught up with her, and just her health started declining last year, and that was it's just the nature of life. So anyway, I wanted to still be here on stream. I wanted to do this because I love connecting with you all, and it's nice to have something of a distraction. So here I am, I'm excited for Build. I'm excited to get to chat with everybody here. So, sorry. Thank you all. I do appreciate that.
No, thank you for sharing, Jason. It's I know it's a tough time right now. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So
you want to talk about?
Sorry, on the happier topics.
Do we talk about Baby Yoda too?
As long as Baby Yoda doesn't hang up the call again, that would be great.
I got cupcake. I got cookie molds in order to make Baby Yoda cookies because that was all the thing. And then this happened. So
you can still make Baby Yoda cookies, but I mean, it would just be up to you to eat them all. I mean,
I did make myself a cheesecake, and you know, it was a healthy dairy-filled breakfast for a week that I have no regrets about.
I appreciate that because I make myself Hot Pockets all the time, and they're delicious.
Do you sing the little like Hot Pocket every time you take it out?
Actually, you know what? I don't want to admit that I do that, but yes, I do that. I do that.
Oh my goodness. This is fantastic.
I'm now officially embarrassed.
Hey, Amanda, Tim Cook has asked if Baby Yoda can come work at Apple.
You know, I will say the only thing that's wrong with Baby Yoda, I mean, I pre-ordered it apparently a long time ago. It just showed up on the doorstep. My kids are very upset that he has no legs. That seems to be the number one.
Was he in Monty Python and the Holy Grail?
He has no legs,
it's but a flesh wound. Oh my goodness!
And his head is obviously very heavy. That's why he tipped over and hung up the call. So we're just gonna go put him away because I don't trust him at this point.
I'm looking at Baby Yoda stuff on Amazon, and man, I only get like baby once. Right. I don't get any Baby Yoda stuff.
Well, here's the thing. It's pretty well trademarked. I did a Baby Yoda birthday party for the triplets this year in February, and I had to get a bunch of stuff.
Do you have triplets?
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
I went to school with like 5 sets of twins and a set of triplets. And it was, I don't know what was going on with like the water the year that all of us were born.
Oh my goodness. That is funny.
Yeah. So yeah.
I'm gonna flash the hold on, we were so far off topic. Not that we necessarily had specific topics, right? But we are so far off track right now.
It's such a loose concept.
I'm gonna rein this back in for a moment. I said I would do this once every 15 minutes or so. For those of you who have joined the stream and may not have seen this earlier when I showed it, for attending today's webcast, either today's webcast, tomorrow's webcast, or our expert session that we'll be hosting tomorrow, you can obtain a special build badge for your Feedback Hub profile. Just drop in, visit the link there, aka.ms/whipbuild, and get your special Build 2020 badge. There you go. I'll bring everybody back on camera now. And
it's interesting though, it is interesting, Don, when you talk about build and attending virtually. And additionally, with everyone working from home, it's a very real thing. There's a lot of parents trying to navigate the crazy world of homeschool and meetings and virtual events and everything else. It's kind of crazy time, but I'm really impressed by everyone in the community, how I've seen them support each other on Twitter, and I'm learning a lot about social media myself. And then just hearing all things about build has been a really cool thing to be able to, for me, check in the evenings when things are a little bit quieter in my house and see, catch up on all the news. And it's interesting. I love connecting with people. And I think since I started this job, I haven't actually got to see you guys in person, which is kind of a weird thing. But, I think I am liking being able to interface with a lot more people. And for people on the webcast, I really do want to understand what are the ways that we can better interact with everybody. And, we're going to have Ignite coming up. And so keep sending us information on what you liked about this event and how we can kind of tweak and make it different or better for Build. For Ignite coming up and other events, because we're all learning as we go along with this. And so super important to keep that feedback loop happening.
Yep.
We have never actually officially met Amanda as our boss yet. In person.
So
interesting time.
I had to parse what Brandon is saying.
Just
right?
saying.
So Brandon's actually technically correct because which is the best kind of correct, right? So everybody that you see on stream right now, we all know each other. We've worked together for a while. We've had lunch together. We've had meetings together. All of this, but
wait, have we had lunch together?
In various settings, each of us has had lunch.
I haven't had lunch with Jen, to be clear.
Okay, you gotta fix that. You gotta fix that.
I'll fix that.
Someday.
But once Amanda kind of took the reins as the lead of the Insider program, we were already working from home. So we actually haven't had like an in-person team meeting with all the members of the Insider team, with Amanda and all that. That's kind of funny.
Mm-hmm. We are the front lines of the new culture of whatever this is.
Okay, Brandon.
That's the best I can describe it. Sorry, I mean.
Oh my goodness.
That's cool.
Yep. So there's actually some stuff going on in the chat about the different conferences we have. So I'll kind of talk through it real quick. There are 3 main conferences that happen each year. Build, which is obviously currently ongoing, which is very developer focused. Then usually in middle of summer, usually July, there is Inspire, which is partner focused. So partners who are engaging on behalf of Microsoft, partnering with Microsoft. That term partner, like, it's very broad, right? There are companies who have software that they layer on top of the Windows OS to enable other businesses to be productive and things like that. They're part of the partner ecosystem, but that's what Inspire is for. And then Ignite happens. Ignite isn't quite so set. Sometimes it's October, sometimes it's November. This year it's the last week of September, because it got pulled up earlier in the year.
Yep.
It was supposed to be in New Orleans, but now it'll be digital and virtual. So Ignite is very IT pro focused. So we get a lot of folks who actually participate in the Insider program that attend that conference. And so from a size and scope, each one is progressively bigger. I don't think it was necessarily designed that way. It's just kind of how it turns out. So those are the 3 big conferences that Microsoft does. And I don't know who asked the question, but hopefully that gives you the answer that you were looking for. I gotta say one quick thing. Igor has mentioned that there's apparently a live stream of chickens. And apparently, and I was like, "Is that actually a thing?" Because I didn't know it was a thing. And apparently, yes, the chickens are actually sleeping on live stream right now. That's.
So, my boyfriend had a morale event with his team today, and usually they'd go out all and do something, but pandemic, and so they, on live stream, actually went to a farm, and they were watching cows, and I turned over because he works right behind me. I was like, why are you looking at cows in the middle of the day?
Okay.
What brought this on?
But
they had fun,
Yeah. All right.
Wait. Cows, and then a live stream of cows and a live stream of chickens. I know zoos. I know zoos are doing like live webcasts of like penguins walking through, interacting with elephants. Thing. But I mean, like chickens. No, I need to see this. I need to see the chickens.
All right. Well.
So there's a question on the podcast from Luke. He says, "Have you ever accidentally revealed a confidential product in front of an audience?"
Yeah.
I will say
no.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me,
no. Brandon, what was it? What did we leak?
You guys all talk when I'm asking you. You're hilarious. Sorry, go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, you said that we've leaked something. What was it, Brandon?
No, Brandon.
Oh.
Way back in the day, it was
Is this before the Insider program?
No.
Okay.
It was right at the beginning. It was a Surface Pro, a new Surface Pro, and I was like, "Oh no!" It was on like some sort of some photo got sent out, and I was like, "Oh no!" But that was the only one.
Some photo?
Yeah. someone took a photo of me, and I'm like sitting there working, and I didn't realize it, and then photo, and they shared it on social, and I was like, oh no, and
Oops.
yeah, oops, it was definitely that.
So aside
Hey,
from
Brandon, your dad just called you old.
so apparently aside from Brandon trying to get fired, and all of the stuff,
I was just being honest, man. Whatever.
On the webcasts and the podcasts, we have a very clean track record, something I'm extremely proud of. We haven't gotten ourselves into trouble that way, thankfully. The closest that we came was a webcast that we did, oh goodness, probably a year and a half ago? Maybe 2 years ago? It was one that we were talking, it was very developer focused. We had Anna, who was a dev on the Feedback Hub, and several other folks come on and talk about their dev work, what it was like being a dev at Microsoft, the experience, skills that are helpful, things like that. And there was a tool that was launching the very next day about how to view your data diagnostics information and privacy-related stuff. And everything had been teed up, right? It was ready for launch the next day, and it was mentioned. So that's the closest that we came. But, in the grand scheme of things that Microsoft works on along the way, that thankfully wasn't enough to get us in any serious hot water. So I'll leave it at that. I'm very thankful for that track record. I hope to keep it that way.
Careful. We're pretty good at making sure that we monitor and we look at all of the things that we're using, all the devices we're using, all of the software we're using. Like, we try to use the same things that we are releasing to insiders. So we're pretty good at that, I would say.
Well, I think a lot of the times too, with I used to worry a lot more about it early in my career when we took a long time to get to beta. But with the Insider program, we're really pushing out new features so quickly and bug fixes that I don't have to worry so much about that, because if you're in one of the earlier rings, you're basically getting the code 3 days after we check it in, and so I don't worry too much about that anymore because we're so kind of back and forth and collaborative with a lot of stuff.
I remember, oh my god, my cat scratched on my arm. Just, luckily it's dark, so you can't see my wounds. I remember, doing the betas in Windows 8 and how, by the time the code got out to people, it was months, a month, if not more months old. And getting the responses back. I think that we had that. Was it called the Connect site or something?
Yeah, that we collaborate.
It was like a news group. Yeah.
I remember Connect. That's the place you would go to download the ISOs.
That sounds vaguely familiar. I thought we weren't still doing CDs at that point.
Well, you would download the ISOs, and then you would use a kind of a CD ripper tool to take the ISO and rip it to a CD, and then you would install the bits. But at the time, Windows didn't support mounting ISOs, so it was kind of funky.
Yeah, that was a Win 10 thing. ISO mounting.
I used the ISO stuff during the 7 and 8 time frame.
No, I meant the mounting natively.
Well, that came in 9. I believe that came in 10, where we supported native ISO mounting, which is awesome.
Yeah, the first thing I worked on was Windows Me, and we had DVDs that we had to send out for beta. That was my very first job, and I think it was big at the time when you need dual layer DVDs and things like that. I remember that.
Let's see here. There was a question that I wanted to address that somebody's asking for the chicken stream link. Is there a link to a portal where we can access information related to Microsoft conferences and events? I know each conference has its own page on the Microsoft website, but I don't know if there's an overarching thing that says, hey, here's a list of all of them. I'm actually going to take a look real quick. So let's see. In Microsoft, I can't type apparently. Ignite 2020. So here's the Microsoft Ignite page. I'm going to paste it in chat. If I hit the right key. So that's for Ignite. That is in there. And then Microsoft Inspire.
Which has all the flagship events link, as you can see.
Yeah, I'm posting that as well.
Oh, flagship events. Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is one. Okay, I didn't know that page existed. Thank you. Of course, it was Rich who's like, "Here's the flagship events thing." Of course. Here's an interesting question that I'm actually going to pose to Amanda, and I'm going to let Amanda answer this one.
All right.
Do you think that the current system, including the Insider program, is enough for testing bugs on Windows before release? Is it? Have you? And I'm going to rephrase the last sentence a little bit. Have you gotten better at catching bugs?
Have we gotten better about catching bugs before release?
Yeah.
It's an interesting question. I'm a big fan of looking at data, so I'd have to pull data to know for a fact. But we do when it comes to the product itself, we do a series of internal tests and stuff before we even give it out to insiders. But it's really important that we get the feedback on how it's working for everyone's individual system. I think the key thing that I love about the Insider program is that, you see me posting, I have a Surface Studio, even in my home office. I really am interested to see how people outside of Microsoft use it and the systems in which they use it, because that's so unique to our insiders and our customers. I love listening and hearing about how it's working for them versus ours. We can have a whole system of testers and labs and everything else, but it's not the same as real customers who use it and understanding how they use it.
Amanda, I want to toss you another question. In the chat, Mike Langowski has asked, is there a place where I can be an insider for games?
Mike Langowski.
Mm-hmm.
What does he want?
I wonder who that is.
Yeah, that guy. I'm in his office. No. He should go back to playing whatever game he's playing.
So no insider games for Mike. Sorry, Mike. Sorry to disappoint you.
Mike should stick to painting the stuff in the back behind me.
Yeah, Mike should have a conversation with Amanda to see if she can arrange that.
He just asked if you could bring him a water.
I have a feeling Mike's gonna get sucker punched later, and he probably deserves it.
Yeah. For people on the webcast, that's my husband. He also works at Microsoft too, so we like to poke each other whenever we can, and in these sort of professional forums, it's fun.
Oh, it keeps your relationship exciting. You gotta have fun.
That's it.
Crazy Cat says, I've been insidered on my PC, on my everyday computer since day one. That is direct risk taking right there. Crazy Cats, let me ask you, have you ever had to do a clean install because you hit a bug? I know lots of folks out there installing ISOs, that's their preference, right? No qualms on my end about any of that. But have you ever hit a bug that was bad enough that you had to reinstall unintentionally? We'll just still say that. I'm super curious.
In the 5 years or whatever of the Windows 10 Insider program, I have only had to do it once. Mm-hmm. And it was for an issue that did not make it externally because it was so bad. Yeah, it was basically my computer was blue screening in a loop, which 100% qualified as
that's flight blocking.
But I was in Toronto at the time with my mom, and it was it was exciting. Luckily, I had actually had two other laptops with me, so in the scheme of things, it wasn't super bad. But yeah, that's the one time I had to. They fixed it, but if you were already in the bad state, you were kind of stuck. You had to.
You didn't have a clean recovery path.
It was one of the reasons, like, I'm really all about OneDrive, just in case, you know. And so, like, anytime I create wallpapers, I keep them in OneDrive so that, you know, worst case, I can wipe most of my machines and it's not a big problem.
Yeah.
Because all this stuff is right there. Again, you just need to, like, set up your apps and stuff.
And since I asked Crazy Cats on stream, I'll actually answer in case you missed it in chat.
Mm-hmm.
She said that yes, she had to do it once, way back, and it's been so long she doesn't even remember what the issue was. Okay.
What about you, Jason?
So, no.
No, Jason's never reformatted a PC ever.
That's definitely not true. That is definitely not true. Although last week I had fits with trying to get one done. I had to reformat this beautiful machine right here with all the lovely stickers on it. Here, let me show it to the webcam. I love this. I love slapping stickers all over my laptops. I don't know how Microsoft feels about it, but I think it's pretty fun. I will say this. I'm gonna say this. The worst bug that I've hit, right? And this was at the end of 2014 or early 2015. It was like 3 months into the program, and we had started taking builds. There was a build that you couldn't unlock your computer. You had to forcibly reboot your machine so that you, like, anytime you, like, wanted to lock your keyboard or lock your machine with your keyboard and walk away, or if you stepped away and it went into, you know, it kind of locked automatically after you hit the timeout window, you couldn't unlock it. So every single time it was a forced reboot and log back in. That was probably the nastiest bug that I've ever hit. I haven't ended up in any reboot loops, thankfully. I've been very fortunate in that way. That bug obviously did not make it externally. You know, we did not flight with that bug. I would say that's probably the worst bug that I've ever hit.
I think someone mentioned a question about if there are efforts to kind of find bugs, particularly ones that are kind of data impacting. And I just want to say, like, having been on the other side of it, where we review all the flights before they go externally, and we review all the feedback and data coming back, every effort is really put in to make sure that we have zero data loss in any sort of way, right? Like, we really do appreciate all the efforts that insiders do to validate, not and just look at the builds and tell us how it's going, but there's just so much time spent, and anytime we find any sort of bug, there's this huge elaborate kind of what we call an RCA process, like a root cause analysis process, where we look into, you know, what happened, how do we not, you know, find these issues before it went to insiders, and what are the mitigation steps that we can take. So sincerely, from, you know, there's a lot of effort put into any sort of issue that we see that can really impact insiders in a harmful way. A lot of work is involved in terms of working with the developers and everything to make that addressed, and we try to prevent it if at all possible, of course.
Yeah. So Otomosis has asked another super interesting question. Apparently this is the Ask the Hard Questions webcast, so here we go. Related question. Are there concerted efforts being made to improve the bug catching process, considering the reports of the deleted user file in earlier Windows update? And recently, as there have been reports of a monthly update that caused a few user files to have issues, these bugs are harmful. The answer is absolutely yes. Nobody inside Microsoft likes talking about this, so I'll keep this one brief. There was the scenario where with the OneDrive user files potentially going to the Ether, which there was a recovery method. We used Microsoft support to assist those customers that were affected. They were able to recover their files. It did take reaching out to support and going through that process but thankfully the files weren't permanently lost. But it was obviously it was scary for end users who hit it, right? So one of the things that we did in both in Feedback Hub as well as on the backside in the services connected to Feedback Hub, there is specific machine learning and AI applied to user submitted information, both from internal employees as well as insiders that are participating in the program, that we have curated a very specific list of items that highlight feedback that is potentially, for the lack of a way of calling it, that could potentially result in data loss, right? And whether that's accidental file deletion or any other scenario where data may go missing that obviously nobody wants to have happen. And so that immediately triggers a setup where it gets brought to the forefront, bugs are created, that feedback gets triaged, so on and so forth. It was a tough lesson, right? It was a bit of a pill to swallow, but it caught people's attention, and we spent a lot of time collectively, not just on the insider team, but across the various engineering teams and disciplines, to make sure that, that we had something in place to address that. And internally, if we think there's a bug that is going to impact end user data, we have special flags that we can apply to the feedback as it gets submitted that immediately transitions it, flags it, and it shows up on reporting for folks to go and pay attention to. So the answer to that question, I realized it was a bit long-winded. The answer is absolutely yes. And we've put some safeguards in to try and prevent that from happening again. No process is absolutely bulletproof, but we do our best to make sure that end users don't have to go through scenarios like that.
There's also, when you file feedback, there's now the options where you can select the type of problem the feedback is, which just helps us categorize and prioritize.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Dare I ask what you were laughing about, Amanda?
No. No. That was fine. No. I got hit up on Teams. That said I didn't get my ice water. So it was pretty funny. I did see a question from someone on the call saying, "What's the coolest thing you've got from Microsoft?" And so I thought I would share the one thing that I kind of helped with. But sometimes, like especially back in the older days, when we would ship something, we would get ship gifts, like when we finished like a really big project. And so one of the things for Windows Me was a skateboard, and it was a really cool thing because I got to help design what the skateboard looked like, the design and everything else. So that was still one of my funnest ship gifts I've ever gotten, I would say. But really, like,
wait, did you say a skateboard?
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's cool.
I don't think I can put a link in the chat to it. I was trying to figure out if I could, but I would show what it looked like, but I can't see how to do that.
There was a question here. I hope I'm pronouncing username correctly. Obviously, it can be a bit of a guessing game here. Adeseni, Adiseni, asked, "Why is the dial-up connection called a VPN and there's a OneDrive link?" I will say I didn't click the OneDrive link. I'm always suspicious of clicking random links. You'll have to forgive me for that. But if you look in settings, under I think it's network and internet. Network. Let me actually double check. Network and internet. I did get that right. Dial-up and VPN are separate options on the settings page for that. So they shouldn't be combined and compiled together underneath that. So if there's something specific that I need to see at that link, let me know and I'll open it up in a VM on a private browser and I'll go through that route. But if you go look in settings, they are separate.
Someone just asked if there's an insider program for server.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm actually about to post a link to it. I'm responding right now.
Nice.
Awesome.
I think the only thing is the server, it's not the UI one, right? It's the console only.
Yeah, it's all released via ISO that you can download and then do your upgrades using the media. Yeah. But yeah, there is a server insider program. Brandon, how long has that existed? It's been around for a while.
It's been a couple years, like 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm about to post a link here. 1 second. Sorry about.
Is it 6? So there's the Windows Insider program, the Windows Server Insider program, Skype Insiders, Edge Insiders, Bing Insiders. What's my 6, Brandon?
There's Office Insider.
Thank you. I can't believe I forgot Office Insiders. Oh my god. It's been a long day.
Indeed.
Are all the insider programs connected in some way?
Yeah, I just typed out a response to that. Currently, they're not explicitly connected, but we're looking at ways to try and integrate them. Again, I will say, listen to the June edition of the Insider Podcast, where we talk about feedback and other things, and you will like the information that's presented there. So, wait for the June podcast. You'll get some more information.
Like a soon TM.
I will say that, too, with the insider programs, we all talk to each other and try to find ways for alignment all the time. We have a meeting tomorrow, in fact, about some of this sort of stuff. So we are definitely trying to, work on how to make things easier for people who really love being an insider to Microsoft things to connect across those different experiences and opportunities.
Somebody else asked, is there anything secret that you did not announce at Build? And you don't need to announce it. So I will say, I don't have anything to share.
Hey, Jen, get yourself in trouble. I can never quote it, right? So I'm gonna tell a quick story. Back when I started at Microsoft, right, and this was over 8 years ago. I don't remember exactly when it was. Like January of 2012, something like that. It's been 8+ years. Yeah, it's 8+ years. There was a funny saying that somebody said to me, right, that we would always get questions about products we're working on, hardware that we were developing, things like that. And somebody told me there was a line that I needed to memorize to respond with anytime I got one of these questions. And I apologize because I'm not going to get it quite right because I haven't had to use it in a while, because I just say that's not something I can talk about. I shortened the whole phrase. But the general gist of the sentence, and I'm going to try to do it as best I can, was Microsoft is a very large company, and we engage in many different aspects of technology. Even if we were working on a product or service related to what you've asked about, it's not something that I'd be able to speak about. And so, I don't think I got the wording quite right, but that was the general gist of it. Is like, look, we're working on a lot of stuff and I can't talk about it, right? So there's a bit of a throwback for you. Let's see here. Is there a schedule for when the podcasts occur? That was asked by Kairanori. The podcasts, which are not live events like this, these are the webcasts. The podcasts themselves are released the first Wednesday of each month. Unless we have some sort of a hiccup with getting it recorded or something out of the ordinary, they should launch the first Wednesday of each month. We do announce them in the newsletter. We'll announce them on Twitter and social. But if you are looking for it, you can, if you use a particular podcast app, I know there's many of them out there. You can subscribe to it via any of the major podcast applications, and as soon as we release the new episode, you should get your notification saying there's a new episode, and you can take a listen.
So the concept of this webcast was supposed to be imagining that we're at like a booth.
Yeah.
Are there any other questions that you think come up regularly when we talk to people at the booths?
A lot of times we get questions about how to get started. I don't know if Jason, you wanted to touch base on that. Like how to get started as an individual. There's also how to get started as a business. I don't know if we wanted to talk about some of those specifics.
Yeah, I mean, we absolutely can. I mean, as an individual, it's easy, insider.windows.com, and you start there, right? You do need to register a Microsoft account so that you can connect that to whatever machine that you would like to participate in the Insider program. Once you have your Microsoft account registered on the computer that you would like to participate on, open up settings, go to the update section, and on the left side there will be a line item there that says Windows Insider, and you click that, and then you will connect the registered Microsoft account. It'll ask you to reboot your computer because we're doing the service side configuration. You'll pick your ring. Do you want fast, slow, release preview? And then, lo and behold, you go check for updates, and bam, you got builds. We tried to make the process as easy as possible. You can also do it. You can start directly on the computer that you would like to participate from. There will be a plus sign, right? It says click here to get started. You can click that and actually go through the process there. It'll do a pop-up window, and you can do it that way. From the enterprise side, it of course gets a little more complicated because enterprises tend to be, they vary in how they install builds and how they do deployments within their particular environments. So if you are an AAD joined tenant, you need to be an administrator, and you would register one of your AAD accounts to the Insider program. And subsequent to that, you can deliver builds to the target machines. You can use group policy objects. You can do it through Intune. You can do it through SCCM, System Center Configuration Manager, which got renamed. I can't believe I'm spacing on the name of it. Oh gosh, I'm a bit embarrassed. Microsoft Endpoint Manager? Is that right? Through MIM?
I think so. I'm also posting a link about how to get started as a business into the chat as well.
Awesome. There you go. Insider.windows.com for business getting started. Yes, beautiful. Does a machine need to be activated to enroll an Insider? Night Snail, the machine needs to have an active copy of Windows 10 installed on it. That's correct. You cannot do a direct upgrade straight to an Insider build from Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 8.1. The device already has to be running Windows 10, even if it's an older version of Windows 10. But you have to be on an active and valid copy of Windows 10. That is correct. And thank you, Joe. It is Microsoft Endpoint Manager. It took me a second to remember that. I apologize. I should have that at the forefront of my mind. And then if you are interested in doing this as a developer, right, if you want to connect and run your own Insider program, or you would like to have a link to the feedback hub so that you can gather feedback straight through your app, you should attend our online session, our expert session tomorrow, where we will go into details on that. We'll cover that. We'll share some helpful information links, so you can either view it live or you can review the recorded session after the fact. But we will have that available for you to review, and we'll go through that as well. Fire Pratt has asked, online build this year is being a huge success. Will you like future build events to be online too? I mean, we're almost.
We're a build team.
Everybody wants to say something.
We announced as a company that for the rest of the year, a lot of our major events like Build, Ignite, they're all going to be online only. So I'm pretty sure we haven't announced anything beyond that just yet.
Well, I think either way, it would be great to have some sort of virtual component, even if we do have an in-person event. And the cool thing about being in the Insider program is that we just don't have these events. We can interact with people, a lot more frequently through podcasts and webcasts and other sort of things to keep in mind as well.
Yep.
Osmosis asked another really good question, which is, I feel Windows development has become more streamlined over the past few years. Is it true? And if so, how has having the Insider program played a role in that? Yeah, I mean, I even just talking about the cadence of the builds, like, it's just so cool to see how quickly insiders get the stuff that we're working on. And even like flight ops that we run, I would say it's become, compared to how it was in the beginning when it was like hour-long meetings every single day, like,
yeah,
we've become a lot more efficient. Like, we understand the process, we know what to check for, we know things that might be concerning. We do more controlled feature rollouts, which helps us validate the quality of things side by side. I don't know, Brand, Jason, you want to say something?
I'll just add on, right? Because I absolutely echo everything that you said. In the early days of the Insider program, Flight Ops was, I say this in a very loving way, right? There was no actual
amazing.
There was no physical altercations, right? But it was a knockdown drag out sometimes. There were lots of arguments over bugs and between teams, and should your bug block me from getting validation, on, new features that I have checked in. And there was lots of arguments and, fussing and whatnot. And it would take a while to get the code through, right? The whole code churn process of getting a fix for a bug, getting it in a build, making sure we can actually spin that around. Okay, now that fix is in for that bug, did something else get checked in that potentially broke and to prevent us from flighting? As an insider, both internally, me taking preview builds, and then each of you externally taking preview builds, no doubt you've seen the change in the cadence that we release preview builds from the early days to where we're at now. It seems like back then it was great if we were able to get a build out. At the point that we've reached, and it's a point that I'm very thankful for, it's more of the scenario of it being kind of an oddity if we don't get a build out in a particular week and we do have a flight blocking bug. I'm thankful for that. I'm not trying to jinx us here, but there's been a lot that has changed, and when we release a build and we find something that would potentially block a build going from the to the next progressive ring, something like that. The process and the turnaround time for getting a fix, getting it checked in, getting it validated, potentially releasing it as a cumulative update to a fast build before it would end up going to the slow ring at some point. All of that has definitely gotten faster over the course of time, and it is absolutely a testament to the Insider program for end users saying, "Hey, I found this thing. I don't know if you've seen it internally," because there are scenarios where we see it doesn't happen as frequently within our internal device population, and then something pops up externally, and it's like, oh, it was a bigger issue than we had seen internally. Yes, we need to take quick action on this and then go and try and resolve it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good question. So I don't know who asked it, but thank you for asking.
I think we know why the flight ops has gotten so good over the years, Jason.
Of course.
Wait, say that again?
I think we know why flight ops got better and better from the early start.
Well, I mean, once some guy named Mike stopped running it and it switched to some super awesome lady named Amanda, things just got great. That's all I can say.
Wow.
What's he going to do? Defend himself in chat? Ooh, he doesn't get to talk on
No,
stream.
it's just because of me.
Amanda's glory seeking here. And I'll feed it to her a little bit.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. And Mike in chat, I'm still listening. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but I'd say that even assessing the payload and what the changes are and getting stuff in the flight notes, we understand the top issues quickly. We've got a really good rhythm, I would say.
Yeah, no, I like joking around and stuff, but I think that we've really improved our listening systems in terms of early validation and external validation, to make sure that we can, quickly kind of assess if a build is good enough for insiders. And we want to go faster and faster. I think someone asked, can we get back to having 2 times a week? And it's 100% like our intent to give more frequent updates of experiences that insiders want. And so, but we just want to make sure it's done in a way that's not, kind of intrusive and is a high quality. And so there's a ton of work that goes on in the background to make sure those listing systems are awesome. Starting from how code is first checked in, to make sure that we have a ton of gates and stuff in place to make sure that when developers are first checking in their code are really strong, all the way to like doing self-host, which is kind of like our first kind of peek at if the build is good enough. A lot of systems in place really to make it good before it gets to insiders, and to make sure that we're listening strongly with things like the feedback hub and other pieces to make sure that we're on the right track.
So there was a funny question, and I decided to whip out Paint and answer the question real quick. I think it was Starzuft that asked, what would the graph for downloads look like when a build is released? So this was as fast as I could draw this out in Paint. I will say my art skills in Paint are not good, but I'm actually kind of proud of how this turned out for how terrible this is. So here you go. This is what it looks like. What we'll see is there's an immediate jump right after we do a release, right? There's a small time gap where we're getting the word out, and then over the course of a few days, it takes this very steady increase, right? And this is the cumulative downloads happening at a given point in time, right? This isn't total downloads, because obviously that chart would just continue going up until it actually just stopped when we released a new build. So you will see a big bump that happens of more people finding out the build's available, more devices doing their automatic scans. So the number of simultaneous downloads will continue to increase. And then slowly over the course of time, as the population of insiders have updated their devices, the number of devices that are actually downloading the build and subsequently installing continues to decline over the course of time. So it looks something like that.
Week-ish, we put out a new build. So, this is actually another example of remember we used to joke in the beginning when we put out a new build, Twitter would tell us in seconds, and I think it took 6 minutes for our systems to be able to detect that people were starting to pick it up. And now, a lot of times on the call, it ends up being a race. Is Twitter going to notice first, or are the systems going to tell us first? And it's pretty even, which is really cool that we can get the data back that quickly.
Jason, we got asked a question about how we manage our beards.
That's what's funny is with this being a booth experience, somebody would actually ask that at the booth. So it's kind of funny that happened.
Yep.
How do we manage our beards? I shampoo it each day, right? Since I don't really have any hair, I shampoo my facial hair instead. Yeah.
Wait, is that something dudes do? You actually
I don't know. It's something I do. I don't want dirty facial hair, so when I take a shower, I use shampoo. It sounds weird, but I do wash my head, even if most of it's bald, and then I wash my beard too, so it gets all scrubbed and cleaned, and it gets conditioner and everything. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's normal or not.
I'm the opposite. I shampoo my hair, but I wash my face, but I don't shampoo my beard.
Okay. So there you go. You get 2 completely different responses. I shampoo my beard. Brandon doesn't shampoo his. So, back to the chat questions. Kevin 2016. There you go, Jason. Bet we run into a bug tomorrow. Amanda, let me ask you a question. What is the probability of us releasing a new fast ring flight tomorrow? Not that I'm putting you on the spot. Wink, wink.
What day is today?
Today's Tuesday.
I'm just kidding. I would say that we should focus on what's going on with build tomorrow. Not worry about if a new build is coming or not.
Uh-oh. That doesn't sound very forbearing.
I
think I used that word wrong. It sounds foreboding.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to get to. It sounds foreboding. But now I'm going to look up forbearing and see if it means something bad that I shouldn't have said it.
You should look that word up.
Hold on.
Amanda, would you say that if there's a good likelihood that we will still fly a build to the fast ring this week?
I didn't say we weren't going to play a build this week. I just said, let's focus on build itself.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying
likelihood.
Likelihood.
The likelihood that we have a flight this week is just as good as any other week, where I've taken the build. We've taken builds like we do every day, and we are evaluating it. And I think that our goal is to get, a flight out at least once a week. And I think if people want it more, I'd love to know. We always are kind of towing that line between how many builds and how many updates can we give people. But, I think we try to be a little more sensitive, especially during times when people are doing work from home things and various, to not kind of overload their already taxed internet situation.
Yeah.
But yeah, I want to get builds out. Like that's my goal, to get builds out and hear what people think.
And to your point, like we are definitely mindful of the bandwidth constraints that people have across the world, not just, a lot of people think that we are U.S. focused, but we consider a lot of that when we look at global releases. So.
Oh, absolutely. One housekeeping note I do want to say, forbearing, right? Where I was like, did I say something that I shouldn't have said? Forbearing is a word used in relation to people, meaning patient and restrained. So even though I used the wrong word, I was still right. Just accidentally right. Insiders should engage in being forbearing this week. So.
Okay.
Word of the day, sponsored by Jason.
I know, right? There you go. There's your word of the day. Forbearing. Forbearing. Okay. Oh my goodness. Somebody said earlier, right? It was like, I was like, I apologize for, the earlier hiccups with the audio and whatnot. And, I didn't want to get too far off track. And somebody said, isn't that being on brand for the webcast, is to get off track? And I'm like, what kind of webcast am I running here? That I have the reputation for that. But I guess that's what makes it fun. So
someone asked a cool question on the chat saying, who actually presses the build it button?
Okay.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
Do you want to answer it, Amanda?
Sure, yeah. We have a great team, the engineering systems team. And there is a whole process around how code gets checked in. And we have a regular schedule in which it happens. It's fairly, automated, but it's the engineering systems team that hits the go build a button. And it's the flighting team who hits the go flight a button. And there's a lot of people involved in it.
Yeah, so usually to actually put a build out, I think, and we spent an entire webcast on this once, didn't we, Jason?
About the flighting process? Yeah. I actually had Amanda on as the guest.
Yeah. And, we have a bunch of pillars, and there are people from each different team to represent the pillars of quality that have to own the measures and signing off on the quality to send it to a particular ring. And then if everyone signs off, we're pretty much good to go. Otherwise, if someone says we can't fly it, then we have to have a discussion about the issue that was raised that is deemed flight blocking. If you're internal and on the Canary ring, you get builds automatically every single day, which is ish every day, but we're like the canaries in the coal mine. And the reason why we're the Canaries is to try and catch things early before they go live externally.
So I want to sorry to jump in, but we have 2 minutes left, Jason. And I'm not sure if you had any like closing plans or anything you wanted to say.
Yeah. Good time check, Brandon. I will show the slide one more time in case anybody has joined.
Yep.
I want to make sure that everybody has a chance to obtain this badge. If you heard this earlier, I apologize. I'm going to give it again for anybody who might not have. As part of Build this year, since we are not there in person to provide handouts or mementos in person, we are offering a digital badge that you can have added to your Feedback Hub profile, showing that you attended either this evening's webcast, the webcast we'll be doing tomorrow, or the expert session that we'll be doing tomorrow as well. If you attend any of those three, you can click this link, aka.ms/whipbuild. There is a quick, it says it's a 2-minute survey. It's not even 2 minutes. It's super fast. You go in and fill a little details there. Please do use the email address that you have registered to the Insider program. That's how we will provide the badge so that it shows up on the Feedback Hub for your Insider account. Super important to make sure you use the correct email. Fill that out, share that email, answer a couple quick questions on what you thought of the session. We would love to hear your feedback. And then within a couple weeks of Build ending, we will go through and do all the compilation and make sure that those badges do get issued out. So I will say thank you for everybody who takes the time to go through and do that. We can't wait to get those badges out to you. Aside from that, let me pull everybody back up on screen here. I don't know. This has been a whole lot of fun. It's for me when we do these webcasts. There's a ton of fun in sharing technical information where we cover a feature or a service. We go really in depth with something that insiders have asked to talk about, such as flighting or feedback. I loved it when we had the Edge team on right after they had released the Chromium version of Edge, where we spent the entire hour and a half kind of talking through that. But then it's fun to have these where it's we're in a time of events being changed and us coming to try and connect in a different way with folks. We're here, we're going through the same things that everybody externally is going through with trying to adapt to this new environment. Everybody's having to adjust in one way or another, some folks more than others. But we appreciate that you're here with us. We thank you for taking the time to come and spend with us. And we're glad that you're part of this program. And I don't know, I on behalf of everybody here, I want to thank you for your time, for your engagement, for coming and hanging out with us. And if you like this, hopefully you left us some comments in that survey. Because if you like this, we can try to do this again when Ignite rolls around later this year. So do let us know, give us your feedback, and tell us what you think. Amanda, what do you got?
This is really cool. I like I said, I'm learning a lot about what insiders want from the chat and from the questions, and I'm really eager, honestly, to connect more to the specific topics that people want to learn about, like whether it's the engineering system, and obviously UI and 10x is like a meaty topic that everyone wants to get into. We will absolutely come and tell people more about these things and connect more with the specific engineers and stuff that do this work, and a lot of us have individual experience within it as well. So this has been super fun. I can't wait to do a couple more of these over the next few days, and I really appreciate the time that you guys all took to come chat with us for a while.
And we have we're doing another one of these tomorrow. So if you want to join us for tomorrow as well, we'll be there.
Yep. Yeah, feel free to stop back in. You're going to get some more fun and antics and shenanigans just like you did. I would say this evening, because it's evening here, in Redmond, but for everybody who was posting up, it's morning some places, it's nighttime, middle of the night in other places, kind of all over the place here. Jen, any comments to share as we wrap up?
I mean, I guess I'd just say, with everything else, going on in the world, it's felt kind of nice that we can continue doing stuff and engaging with you and be a part of this community. Because I don't know, it feels like we're family. Like, we care about you, you care about us. Like, from serious topics to silly topics, it's always great to get a chance to engage with you.
It's one of my favorite parts of the job is engaging with the community. So
awesome. Well, hey, I guess we'll call that a wrap. Again, I apologize for the audio issues at the beginning of the stream. I'm glad I got it figured out. I apologize for the delay and the echo and whatnot. Like I said, every time we do something a little different, I have to learn a little something new on how to try to make this run as smoothly as possible. I will say, both with the last webcast and this one, it appears that the video issues with webcams and all that seem to be kind of ironed out. Watch tomorrow go completely haywire. I'm not trying to, jinx myself here. Brandon, that's a little too close.
Tomorrow we'll have all my kids up and the dog. It's going to be insane.
Oh, it's going to be great. Oh, maybe we'll have more family on stream. And I will try to wrangle my dog Ripley into the stream tomorrow too. So,
Maybe
anyway.
I'll switch cats tomorrow.
Yeah.
See the other one.
Get to see the other cat. And you'll have to bring Kilo back on, Brandon.
he's done. He's out. He's
zonked for the
sleeping. He's zonked for the evening. He's like, I'm not coming back.
Tomorrow's a new day, right?
We shall see.
Awesome. Well, hey, we're going to wrap up here. Again, thank you to everybody for hanging out with us. Thank you for all the great questions. I think we got just about all of them answered. Happy to have you here. Happy to be able to connect with you in this way. Hope you enjoy the rest of Build. There's more announcements and great information coming tomorrow. So tune into all the sessions that grab your attention, that excite you, or think is something that you want to learn. And at the end, do fill out that survey and let us know what you think. And we'll try to do some more of this in the future. So good night, everybody. Good day for those of you around the world. And we'll connect again soon. Cheers, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.